We're going to invite forward our president. You may have heard him at the Monty. You may have heard him tell stories in other places. He is a wonderful gentleman. Andrea says so. He has a wonderful family, and he gives of his time and love to our congregation. He is our president, Kevin Ginsberg.
Our beloved and amazing immediate past rabbi's wife said to me last year when she learned, just after she learned that I was in line to become the president here, and just before her filter had a chance to kick in, she said, quote, "What, you?" Funny things are funnier when they're true. Toda rabba, laila tov, am yisrael chai. Shabbat shalom, shana tova. I have now just spoken to you all of the Hebrew that I know. We value a wide range of abilities and personalities here at Bethel Synagogue in Durham, North Carolina, and in this ridiculously learned community full of scholars, young and old, who regularly interrupt our Torah services to ask and answer questions of high-level Parshat-related minutia. You chose this guy to be presidential. So I want to be clear that the results of the next couple of years are squarely on you. Now, to be fair, they always are. Every presidential Kol Nidre address is about you, about us, about community, who we are, the perfect, ever-present, calm unity of community, and the haphazard Michigan chaos of community. I first met this community and Rabbi Sager of blessed memory and his truly wonderful and amazingly blunt wife. A quarter century ago, I've shared this story a number of times before, but never to a group nearly this large, and it was exactly 25 years ago tonight that I first came to Bethel. It's Kol Nidre 1999, and the next day for the 4 o'clock meetup, was the first time I ever participated in a Torah study session. That night was the first time I ever stayed to the very sweet end of a Nila service. And I fell in love with the intellect and the heart and the poetry and the ruach, the community of Bethel. I'm 27 years old with hair down to my tush and multiple piercings. Make that mean whatever you want about me. Your judgment doesn't hurt me all that much anymore, thanks to therapy. That continues every other Wednesday at 3 o'clock. It's with the same therapist that immediate past President Dan Schnitzer referred me to and went to for 2 years himself. It's a true story, but I feel like I've gotten off track. It's Kol Nidre 99, long hair, multiple piercings, and I'm in the third year of law school at the time. And I'm also a brand new massage therapist with a license to touch. It was a lifetime ago, and it was yesterday. And when Rabbi Sager met me and learned that I was a massage therapist, he asked me if I would consider giving some massage therapy sessions to a very dear member of the Bethel community who was very ill, named Earl Siegel. I took my table over to the Siegel house several times, having no context for the extraordinary man that he was, or that he was married to the first female president at Bethel, Gladys, or that they would soon become the namesake for what was then about to become Bethel's brand new endowment, established to provide for the long-term financial stability of Bethel. A few years later, after I cut my hair, took out my piercings, Andrea finally agreed to marry me. We had our 2 sons. I started coming around here a lot more often. And I got to know probably most of the people who are here tonight who were also here for Kol Nidre 99. In fact, raise your hand if you were likely here for Kol Nidre 1999, facing south. So to you all, thank you for being so kind to this long-haired Jubu hippie. Thank you for attending to this precious community. Raise your hand if you joined Bethel since the building was renovated in 2019. And so to all of you long-timers who have been here long enough to be nostalgic about the way things used to be, whatever that way might be for you, to all of you newer members finding your way into belonging, into reimagining, to co-creating great new ways for our present and our future, to everyone passing through here for a season or two, to guests, family, shul shoppers, my parents, and any other permutation of demographic, to all of us here, a great big welcome, a great big tinted welcome. We all belong here tonight. There are many different access points to belonging here or to belonging to any shul. For my family, our entrance door into the Bethel tent was, to really feeling like we belonged here, was the annual Beach Shabbaton. It's a retreat center weekend, which we began attending in December 2008, when our boys were 2 and 4 years old. If you haven't been or haven't been in a long time, or if you're a newer member especially, maybe join us this year. It's fun, it's a lot of fun, but more important than fun, it's good. For the timelessly meaningful reason that when people spend time together in the same space, breaking bread, hanging out, being playful, talking beyond small talk, good things happen. Good things like friendship, relationship, connection. It's the unpredictable, unplannable, positive outcomes that come as a result of convening people together in the same space at the same time. The Meshuggah crazy and the calm unity of community. So over the years, Andrew and I made a lot of forever friends in you. My generation received community from those who came before us, and hopefully we do our part to pass community on. We might sometimes drop or almost drop, but we do our part to receive and give, to catch and toss, to pick up and repair, to be the Torah we want to see in the world. Our boys, 17 and 20 years old now, they grew up here doing something I never imagined possible when I was a child. They actually enjoyed their Hebrew school years, getting tutored by and becoming friends with the older kids, tutoring the younger ones. Gotta love the Bima conversations between our Bar Mitzvah kids and Rabbi, the thematic cards at high holiday services, the cozy and unpretentious culture full of learned Jews expressing Judaism through many different doors. We are the Hamish traditional conservative Orthodox Reconstructionist egalitarian kind shul in the triangle. I wish I had time to personally say thank you to each of the hundreds of you who bring yourself forward to co-create this community. For those leading and involved in our community of care, VOD, Sisterhood Mob, Ritual, our Gabbis, service leaders, teachers, lifelong learners, multiple minyanim. For those involved in finance, development, Women's Tahara, Chevra Kadisha, Shabbatot, our artists, social action, interfaith, racial justice, and Kulanu committees, our board. Raise your hand if you have served or supported someone serving in one of these capacities in the past. Everyone else that doesn't have their raised hand probably has a guest name tag on. And to all of you, both currently engaged and the shoulders of whom we stand on from the past, Toda Rabbah. I will say, though, thank you with particularity to Adam, Aaron, Abby, Andrea, Annette, and Andrea. And while we're at it, thank you to all the A's here. You have, if you have your name tag here, the ABC drawer to put your name tag in out in the vestibule. Big thank you also to Sandy, Sally, Shula, Sheila, Shari, and Sherry. You have the ST drawer. I love the name tag culture that's developing here. So I said a few names, but seriously, to the hundreds of you who give and receive, and give because giving is receiving, year after year, Toda Rabbah. Keep it up, maybe double down. So I love Bethel. Many of you do too. But then, kind of a big but is coming. This is where the background music in the movie version of this personal narrative, Kol Nidre speech thing, changes tone and gets a bit somber. Then, after 20 years enjoying Bethel as a happily engaged congregant, I did the thing I swore I'd never do. Join the board. I literally swore to God I would never join the board, and God was like, yeah, cool, don't join the board. Then I heard God chuckle, right? Man plans, God laughs. I joined the board in 2020 to help do my part to guide this already thriving congregation in the same direction it was already heading. And COVID happened. The world changed overnight and several times since. Our beloved Rabbi Sager got sick and died. We've struggled through some executive director instability. And Am Yisrael Chai, these last 370 days. Through all of that, frankly, through all of that, Bethel Synagogue continues to thrive. We continue to adapt and grow, defying the odds of conservative shuls in medium town USA. But times are changing, they always are. Demographics are changing, they always do. And our continuity is not guaranteed. It never is. It must instead be planned for. Our continuity must be planned for not just by our extraordinary, wholehearted rabbi. Our young new rabbi is in his 14th year with us, and this institution is so blessed by what is now almost 50 years of rabbinical stability. With thanks to almost Rabbi Rachel Posner, who will help guide us the first half of 2025 when Rabbi Graber is away for his first ever and very well-deserved 6-month sabbatical. Our continuity must be planned for not just by our way too hard executive director who shoulders so much for us. Ed, you are the first executive director to serve 2 high holiday seasons in this new building. Along with Amy and Noel, you are building the operational and systemic scaffolding that we have to build to make it possible to function while we continue to grow. It is a huge job, and we must provide more support to transform many of our growing pains into growing pleasures. Our continuity is planned not just by Lynn Ann and the great teaching staff who's infusing so much new excitement into our Talmud Torah, and not just by Eliana who shines on us with so much light. But our continuity, of course, must be planned by all of us. Thanks to the engagement of just about all of us, we have a new strategic plan to help guide us to row in the same boat together toward the same goals with shared values. Our ever-evolving mission or vision is a thriving, engaged, intergenerational Jewish community. Our mission is continuity from generation to generation, Lador Vador through many doors. I invite you to read our full strategic plan. It is authentic, it is vulnerable, it's courageous, it's specific enough to point in existentially wise directions, and it's general enough to leave it up to us to fill in the details, and it won't happen on its own. One easy way to row in the same direction, of course, is to be curious about the differences in the people here that you know and don't agree with. You may not believe this, but there are a range of ways amazing and wise people in this sanctuary now look at local politics, at Israel's government, at war and peace, at history, at current events, at Bethel's leadership's response to all of the above. There may be some baseline fundamental truths that we all agree on, and our strategic plan asks us to define more clearly the tent of who we are. But for the most part, it's not that some views are right and others are wrong. It's that being right isn't the point in community. And curious, courageous, and kind conversation across difference elevates community. Another timeless way for us to row in the same direction is to get to know people you don't know. At the end of just about every service, Rabbi Graber gives the familiar refrain to find someone you don't know and wish them a Shabbat Shalom. It is a great tradition, and he should keep reminding us of that. But we're kind of good at that by now. Let's keep doing that and do more than that. Find someone you don't know to wish a Shabbat Shalom and sit with them for Kiddush. Share personal stories with them. Listen more than you talk. Introduce them to someone else. Invite them to Shabbat dinner. Have people over into your homes. Intergenerational bonus points for doing that with people 20 years older or younger than you. Do you parents with young children realize how many empty nesters are here and capable of providing free babysitting if you just get to know them? So how about the people you've seen around here for years? You maybe politely smile at them, but you don't know them. You don't know their name. You might recognize their name, you might recognize their face, but you don't recognize their name and face together. Like, we all have those people, right? We all are those people for some other people. When the member bio committee comes knocking on your door, please do respond and update with your bio and pictures, but effective immediately by the power vested in me by my imagination, I am issuing a presidential pardon for any past and future name-related mistakes. Right? It's much more in line with our values to try and make mistakes than to not even try at all. Words matter, and learning names is important. But a culture of forgiveness and assuming good intent in each other that extends beyond the holy days and throughout the year is perhaps more heart healthy than expecting perfection of yourself or anyone else before engaging. And so in addition to pardons, I am issuing an executive order to call, email, walk up to people and just say it. We should know each other by now, but we don't. Let's sit down, let's go for a walk or coffee, invite people into your home. Then repeat that week after week until we achieve a goal that is at once aspirational and totally obtainable, where most people in this congregation know and are known by most everybody else. Meshuggah chaos melting into the calm unity of community. And so our strategic plan has us focused for the next 5 years on deep connections and belonging, as well as education, operations, and financial sustainability. Current board and lifelong Bethel member Jessie Lunk is lending her expertise as a strategic plan implementation professional to lead our efforts as we explore implementation of this strategic plan, how to bring you along with the plan, how to get real and address where we fall short of our vision and our mission and our aspirations, and how to fund our aspirations. In January 2018, this community met to share stories and then parade-style walk our Torahs down to the Trinity Avenue Presbyterian Church as we moved into our new temporary home, while this new building, which was the signature focus of our previous successful strategic plan, was renovated. Before the events of that day began in January 2018, I got to sit down with Gladys Siegel on the hard bench that used to sit out in our foyer, and we had the best conversation. We reminisced about how I met her and Earl those few times when I came to their house to give Earl a massage, and we talked about the fact that our endowment, while important, is not nearly as robust as it needs to be. Part of the potential in our strategic plan is to finally grow our endowment so it becomes a real source for long-term sustainability. And to that end, the board and development committee are embarking on a professionally led feasibility study to assess and hopefully take action on building the short and long-term financial infrastructure we need to thrive into the next quarter century. A quarter century ago, this long-haired Jubu hippie stepped into this building for the first time, as some of you may have done tonight. Our community is larger now and more diverse, but just as precious as it was then. Durham Jews of 2050, 5810 are counting on you, are counting on us, all of us, to sustain and to co-create, to reimagine this thriving, engaged, intergenerational Jewish community where we l'adore Vador through many doors.